I to say?
It's been 40 years since Dr. Emmett Brown sent us back in time with his famous flux capacitor.
1 gigawatts of electricity. 21 gigawatts!
Of course, that was just fantasy. But in real life, University of Connecticut professor Ron Mallett says he has cracked the code for time travel.
My primary interest is Einstein's theory of relativity, which has to do with black holes and the Big Bang theory of the universe. And that goes back to my primary interest in life, how to prove Einstein's theories that involve time travel.
Mallett's passion for time goes back to an event that changed his childhood.
My father was the center of my life. He was a television repairman in the Bronx, New York. For me, the sun rose and set on him. He died suddenly of a heart attack. I was devastated.
But through grief came determination, thanks to a fateful discovery.
And I came across the book that changed my life. It was H.G. Wells' The Time Machine. And in the beginning of it, it said, scientific people know very well that time is just a kind of space, and we can move forward and backward in time just as we can in space. And so when I saw that this possibility of going back into time, I thought, this is it, this is what I need. If I could build a time machine, then I could see him again. I would tell him about what was going to happen and maybe change things and keep him from dying.
From this notion came the obsession with Einstein, and in time, Mallett used his service in the Air Force to earn a PhD from Penn State, launching a long and distinguished career in physics.
My breakthrough was to realize that if gravity can affect time and light can create gravity, then light can affect time. I realized that there was a special type of light that could do this, laser light. And there's a real device that's called a ring laser. It creates a circulating beam of laser light.
It all sounds compelling, but what does it mean exactly?
Let's suppose you have a cup of coffee in front of you. Think of that coffee as being like empty space, and think of your spoon as being like circulating light beam. If you have this circulating light beam twisting space, then it can eventually twist time into a loop. And if you create a loop, that loop in time could allow you to go back into the past.
All the way to ancient Rome, or to see Babe Ruth play at Fenway? Well, not so fast.
There's going to be a limitation so far as how we can go back to the past. Suppose you turn it on and you leave it on for 10 years. So someone 10 years from now could send back information 7 years, 5 years, all the way back up to the point the machine was turned on. But you can't send it earlier than that.
And for Mallett, that led to a sobering realization. Even if he completes his time machine, he won't get to realize his dream of saving his father. And as much as he'd like to, he can't help others with similar hopes.
It is going to be possible in the future to be able to send information back, but it hasn't happened yet.
And according to Mallett, it won't happen until he's able to resolve one key issue: raising the money to put his formula to use.
I get people contacting me all the time about, when is the time machine going to be ready? And I tell them, well, whenever we get the adequate funding. It was one thing for Jules Verne to say, we can go to the moon. It was another thing for NASA to actually do it, and that required funding.
And rather than use a sports almanac to get rich, Mallett hopes those using his discovery have positive motives, like preventing pandemics.
I now feel that it is possible for people in the future to do this. And if I've been able to show that we can use the possibility of time travel to do good, to try to control our destiny, and to bring out the best in ourselves, then I feel very satisfied.
And what about the man who inspired his interest in reversing time?
I believe that my father would be proud of what I have been able to achieve, both as a teacher, because I've been a professor of physics and I've taught generations of students. I think he would be proud of that. And I think he would be proud of the fact that I wanted to do something that would be a benefit for mankind.
Wow, it's so interesting. And Professor Mallett says he's currently in talks with Hollywood producers about adapting his autobiography, appropriately titled Time Traveler.
Now, as you might expect, there are other scientists who question some of Mallett's theories. And obviously, to prove it, you need a lot of money, as he said, and of course, you need a lot of time as well.